The true wireless, a cosmic transmission across time and space in the closing years of the 19th century, while the world still tethered its thoughts to copper wire and iron cable, one mind reached beyond the visible. Nikola Tesla did not merely dream of wireless communication, he touched it, he built it, and then he tried to tell the world something the world was not yet ready to hear, that the Earth itself is the wire, that energy and information could flow through the body of our planet without a single strand of metal, without a single wave launched into the void, carried instead by the resonance of the ground beneath our feet. This is his story, told not as history but as prophecy. It began, as most revolutions do, with a question no one else thought to ask. In 1891, at Columbia College in New York, Tesla unveiled a machine unlike anything the scientific world had seen, a high-frequency alternator spinning at 10,000 cycles per second, generating currents so rapid they defied ordinary understanding. He passed these currents through his own body without injury. He lit glass tubes with no wires attached. The air around him glowed, but these were only demonstrations, the outer garments of a deeper insight. Tesla had recognized something profound. The vibrations his machine produced were not merely electrical, they were a language, a frequency the earth itself could speak. Where others saw sparks and spectacle, Tesla saw a planetary nervous system waiting to be activated. A transmitter connected to the ground would charge an elevated terminal to enormous voltage. These oscillations would impress themselves upon the Earth, not as radiation scattered into space, but as currents flowing through the planet's conductive body. At a distant point, any point on the globe, a receiving circuit tuned to the same frequency would capture this planetary whisper and convert it back into power or signal or light. The ground was not a return path, it was the primary channel. In 1893, he stood before the Franklin Institute and the National Electric Light Association and laid out the entire system. Elevated capacities, ground connections, tuned circuits linked in series, each one amplifying the signal through resonance. His patents from 1896 onward described systems of breathtaking sophistication, multiple tuned stages cooperating like the chambers of a heart, pumping energy across the planet with selectivity and precision. Where the conventional approach was to shout into the air and hope something arrived, Tesla's method was to speak directly through the earth and to be heard with crystal clarity. And here's where Tesla's story becomes not merely technical, but almost spiritual in its defiance. The scientific establishment had embraced Heinrich Hertz's demonstration of electromagnetic waves. Radio, they said, worked by launching these waves through space. The world believed it, Tesla did not. He called the Hertz wave theory a delusion. He presented experiment after experiment to prove his case. Two grounded circuits side by side, one connected directly to the Earth, the other separated by a spark gap. The grounded circuit overwhelmed the other signals passed over mountain ranges, obstacles that would scatter any space wave arriving at their destination, guided not by line of sight but by the conductivity of the ground. Tesla wrote with characteristic boldness that the Hertz wave theory would one day be recognized as one of the most remarkable aberrations of the scientific mind ever recorded. Whether he was entirely right remains debated, but the core of his challenge, that ground currents carry far more of the signal than space waves, has found support in ways the 20th century was slow to acknowledge. Tesla's grandest vision was never realized in his lifetime. Wardenclyffe Tower, his planned global transmitter on Long Island, was dismantled before it could prove his theory at planetary scale. The infrastructure of wires won. Economics and politics, as they so often do, prevailed over elegance, but the ideas did not die. His concatenated, tuned circuits became the foundation of filter theory, the mathematics behind every radio, every cell phone, every satellite link we use today. His insistence on ground current propagation anticipated the discovery of extremely low-frequency systems used for submarine communication and geophysical research, and his deepest insight, that the planet is not dead matter to be fought against but a living resonant system to be harmonized with, speaks directly to our moment. In an age of climate crisis and energy scarcity, Tesla's dream of clean wireless power transmitted through the Earth's own body has never been more tantalizing or more urgent. Tesla's legacy does not end with wireless energy. His understanding of fields, frequencies, and resonance opened doors that most of us don't even know exist, doors that lead to technologies so advanced they sound like science fiction. Consider this: in a field of study known as new electrodynamics, researcher Richard van der Eyck demonstrated something remarkable. When a uniformly charged non-conducting sheet, a flat surface carrying a static electric charge, is set in motion, something unexpected happens. The relativistic component of the electric field, a term involving the velocity of the charges relative to the speed of light, does not simply move with the sheet, it amplifies. This is called geometric amplification. The non-perpendicular electric field components from individual charges at the edges of the sheet reinforce the fields of charges near the center. The result is a new inward-pointing electric field that appears inside any tunnel or channel formed by the moving charged surface. This inward field creates an outward force on any negatively charged object that tries to enter. It pushes things away. Van Jurek described this as an electrostatic wall. Let that sink in. A wall made of nothing but electric field, no solid matter. No barrier you can touch, just force generated by the geometry and motion of charged surfaces. A force field. Not in a movie, not in a novel. In the equations of electrodynamics validated by the physics of special relativity. The same principle applies to rotating charged disks and rings. The edges moving at the highest velocity experience the greatest amplification of their relativistic electric field component. The faster the rotation, the stronger the wall. This is not speculation. This is the mathematics of Maxwell's equations extended to their full relativistic form, showing us that the technology of force fields, the kind we have watched on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise for decades, has a real physical basis. And yet, how many people have heard of this? This pattern, brilliant discoveries about fields and frequencies quietly buried under the weight of convention, is not new. It is in fact one of the oldest patterns in human civilization. We are told that modern medicine began with germ theory and pharmaceutical chemistry, and that is partly true, but it is not the whole truth. Long before the first antibiotic, human beings understood something about vibration and healing that we have systematically forgotten or perhaps been encouraged to forget. Healing drum circles are among the oldest therapeutic practices on Earth. Found in indigenous cultures across every continent, these gatherings use rhythmic percussion to entrain brainwaves, shift nervous system states, and produce measurable changes in heart rate, cortisol levels, and immune function. Modern neuroscience has confirmed what shamans knew for millennia. Specific rhythmic frequencies synchronize neural oscillations, moving the brain from agitated beta states into the calm, restorative patterns of alpha and theta. This is not mysticism, this is resonance. The same principle Tesla built his life's work around. Church bells ringing across Europe for over 1,000 years were never merely signals for worship. The specific frequencies produced by cast bronze bells generate complex harmonic overtones that have been shown to reduce anxiety and create a measurable shift in the listener's physiological state. Medieval communities rang their bells during plague outbreaks not only for prayer, but because, whether they understood the mechanism or not, the vibrations seemed to help. Certain frequencies of sound have been shown to disrupt the structural integrity of pathogens and biofilms. The ancients may have known more than we give them credit for, and then there is the case of Dr. Royal Raymond Rife in the 1930s. Rife built what he called the universal microscope, a device capable of magnifications that revealed living viruses in real time, decades before the electron microscope, but his greater achievement was what he did next. Rife discovered that every microorganism, every pathogen, has a specific resonant frequency, what he called its mortal oscillatory rate. When subjected to this precise frequency, the organism would shatter, destroyed by its own resonance, while surrounding healthy tissue remained completely unharmed. Rife documented the destruction of cancer-associated organisms using targeted frequency alone. His clinical trials, conducted with physicians at the University of Southern California, reportedly produced remarkable results. And then, quite suddenly, his work was suppressed. What connects Tesla's wireless energy, Van der Eyck's electrostatic walls, ancient drum circles, church bells, and Rife's frequency therapy? One word: resonance. The understanding that everything in this universe, every particle, every cell, every planet, vibrates at a specific frequency, and that by matching, amplifying, or disrupting that frequency, we can transmit energy without wires, generate force fields without solid matter, and heal bodies without chemicals. This knowledge has surfaced again and again throughout human history, and again it has been pushed aside, defunded, ridiculed, or simply buried, replaced by systems that are more profitable, more controllable, and far less elegant. Tesla knew this, he lived it, he died in a hotel room alone while the world ran on his alternating current and pretended he was a madman. But frequencies do not forget. They do not fade, they only wait for a receiver tuned to hear them. This video has been about Tesla's true wireless, his vision of a resonant planet carrying energy and information through its own body. But the story of frequency does not end here. It has barely begun. In coming videos, we will cover topics of suppressed technologies and ways that you can navigate and survive the coming new age. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future video drops. The frequency of truth never fades, it only waits.